Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I am always scared to review books like this because so many people have written about this from so many different angles, and I'm coming in never having read this before. So I'll just give my fresh take on it at my first reading of this. This is the story of Alice, a young girl who finds herself following a white rabbit and falling down a hole, and then she enters this world where nothing is as it seems, and all these weird things start happening to her, and she feebly tries to make sense of it all. I thought this book was a fascinating examination of the human mind's ability to reason through something even if the situation makes absolutely no sense. So you see this in the Alice character, who is presented in all these scenarios, and she has to try to think it through and learn the rules of this new Wonderland. I don't think you could call Alice a normal person. I think if she were smart and well-grounded, this story would actually be pretty horrifying to have such a traumatizing break from reality. As it is, Lewis Carroll keeps it light and fun, and maybe being slightly dim-witted is the right way to go if you find yourself in this situation. One thing that bugged me in this book is how Alice is always talking about centimeters, like being 8 centimeters high, then she's 2 centimeters high. Like, if you're in this world and things are growing and shrinking and you're growing and shrinking, how on earth do you maintain a sense of reference? And I wonder if that's intentional, if Lewis Carroll put in her talk of centimeters and stuff to point out how absurd it is to keep any sense of objective measure as you go through all these growth and shrinking stages. It might be intentional. It's an interesting thought experiment, which is actually what I think this book is. A lot of interesting thought experiences all put together through the collage of this Wonderland that Alice is in. In the end, I was trying to think of what the point of the story is, because I'm not sure what Alice learns by the end. She goes through a lot of these mental exercises, and then she comes out at the end of the Wonderland thinking, that was a weird experience. But I don't think you get the sense that she's actually a changed person, which would be typical in a hero's journey sort of story. The point of the story might just be to point out the limitations in our ability to reason through things, and our ability to put words onto that reasoning. Because you get the sense from reading this book that English is very quirky in how it can be applied, which is where most of the humor in the book comes from. Side note, Scarlett Johansson was the narrator in the version that I heard, and she was amazing. Very good narration job. How she did all the voices, how she played all the parts, very engaging. I don't usually rave about narrators, but this was very good. So all in all, I'll give this reading experience 4 stars. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below.